Oh, YouTube, happy Sunday. Good to see you all. We've been chatting for a little bit already. Uh, just remembered to get the stream started up, but hanging out here with Sam. We're already in it. We're chatting about our experience. We're chatting about Sam's experience right now and the super intense fasting and pre-retreat cleanse that she went through. So I'm sorry. Continue. We're all good. I got everything all.
Yeah.
Everything's going. I swear.
Yes. Please, and always interrupt me if you have to. I'm fine. I don't mind. I don't find it rude. It's okay.
I appreciate you.
You must stop me sometimes. You must. Okay. Yeah. So the diet. So then the day before you have to eat sort of really light, but again, just eat. They say it's very important. Please do eat because you need energy for what you're about to go through. Because some people, they will fast because they don't want to purge out lots of stuff, but it's like,
Right.
you're meant to you're supposed to purge. That's part of it, and you need the energy. So I ate like the day before, but then on the day, stop eating at 3 p.m. Because I guess if you were to eat right before, it'd just be really horrible. It's just all coming out.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there we go. I was on my way, and I have to say, the day when I was traveling up, all of it, I was so nervous. Like, it's the
Did
most
you did
nervous
you
I feel.
go up on your own, or did Mark come with you, or?
Oh, yeah, on my own. And
Okay.
it was, so I was going to drive, and then I looked at the journey, and so you have to go through and around London, and I've done that once, and the drive is so stressful, so horrible. There's so many lanes, traffic. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm just gonna get the train. But yeah, the train journey I was just so nervous all the way up. Just my memory of that day was just so much anxiety, so much nerves. Um, you know, mainly a lot of things, but I was about to go and stay for 3 days with a group of strangers, for 15 strangers in the middle of nowhere, and drink a crazy psychedelic drink.
Yeah.
So even that, but
And it's
yeah,
scary too, like for those that maybe aren't uh like familiar with like addiction or recovery or anything like that. Like most of the time, I think for a lot of people, like there's the decision to just stay away from, all of it.
yeah,
And so there is like a bit of like a anxiety, or at least for me, like a fear of that having opened up something that I didn't want to have
yeah,
opened, and rather than taking it as like that, unique experience, it was like, I need to do this all the time.
yeah.
um,
This is yeah. It's a fear, and it's like a thing, almost like a conflict.
yeah.
Because
Like, should I
yeah,
do this? Or like, especially, I went into it with like maybe 6 months or a year of not drinking. And you're going in with 8 years, and that's a lot of
yeah,
time. That's a lot of like change and evolution and commitment, and
yeah,
uh, it's a scary thing to
yeah.
potentially be putting that at risk, if you will, you
Yes,
know.
yeah.
Um,
It was
so
a lot of, yeah. There was that, and thinking, does this mean the end of my sobriety? Technically, what does this mean? And there was
right,
that. But the way I looked at it, this is plant medicine, and it's different. It's
yeah,
it's put up with the shaman, and if I was, so a few years ago, I went to the hospital and had a procedure on my back, and I was put under anesthesia, whatever you call it, and they
mhm,
gave me laughing gas and stuff. Well, that's technically drugs, so surely that would end my sobriety if I thought of it that way. So this
right,
is how I was
right,
thinking. I was like, okay, but that certainly was you're right. That was certainly a big thing. But I'd already made that decision on my way, and I was like, well, I'm doing this. And it was so funny throughout the day. It didn't feel real. Nothing felt real. I was like, I'm not really doing this. Something's gonna, it's gonna be not real.
right,
So on the train, it didn't feel real. I arrived, it didn't feel real. I got there, so you get there and you put all your stuff down. We're saying these little annexes around the land. we walk through, and it's like this big piece of land. It's like this lady called Maisie owns it, and it was a beautiful land. And she does these retreats often, and she has indigenous tribes staying with her and stuff. So it was a beautiful place. And you walk through, and at the end of like this very, very long, big sort of garden, there's a big yurt, like a massive yurt. And I walked in, and the guy Matt was there, and he's the shaman, and he was just so lovely immediately and welcoming. It was like hello and hugging me, and all the other people were there, and it was like, okay, I feel this starting to feel real.
Yeah.
Still didn't feel real though. Still didn't feel real, but yeah. So I guess once you get there, this is different for everyone. This is what happened. I got there. Stuff got started pretty quickly because it was about 5 p.m. and you're meant to start the ceremony when it gets dark, and it gets dark at the moment here around 8 p.m. 9 p.m. maybe at the moment. So I was like,
Gotcha.
okay, so they're starting all of the stuff, and so I walked into it's a big sort of circle yurt, and I looked around. I was like, okay, there's a big altar in the middle. Instruments, so many instruments. There's guitars, there's pipes, there's drums, there's all of the big gongs, candles, statues, all of this stuff. And all around the room, beds, little beds with pillows and blankets, and then a bucket. Each person had a bucket. I don't know, seeing that and the buckets, I was like, this is real. Okay, this is real. this is it. Yeah.
We're really doing this.
Oh my gosh, we're really doing this. There's buckets. But yeah, we then had a chance to go and get changed. And so they recommend to wear something light colored, so white or something you feel comfortable in. So I just had like a white, I had layers, like a white top and then like a white kind of shawl thing. Just got in. But some of this, there was a lady there called Heather, and she was amazing, and she was wearing this stunning ceremonial, indigenous looking white dress with embroidery and stuff. I was like, oh wow, people dress up for this, I guess. But then I think back, I think, well, this is one of the most amazing things you'll do in your life. Why not dress up,
Right.
So yeah, they did that. So then we got back, we all sat around, and it's beginning. And the shaman does stuff. So he cleanses the room and goes around with this tobacco called mapacho. And so he's smoking this big tobacco-y thing. And he goes around to each person and starts going like blowing it over you all and breathing in. And then he breathes out to the side over you, and he's like almost like he's purging, and he's like burping. He's like making these sounds like and I think that's him, like he's cleansing, and I don't know, he's taking in something and blowing it out.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm actually physically shaking, like my body's shaking. So I'm like, oh, it's just all, the whole thing is just exhilarating. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? He went around each person, and then we did a thing called hape. And it's like a sort of, I don't know if you had this at yours, Retro. It's like a long pipe stick thing. And then they put a sort of powder in, and then they blow that powder up your nose, and then you've got to breathe out, and then again up, and then breathe out. And it's meant to cleanse you and get you ready, your body ready for the ayahuasca. So it's like, and I felt my heartbeat, and I was awake, and I was in the room, and I was like, whoa, that's spicy. Oh my goodness me. So yeah, did the hape, went around, and then he was like, okay, this is it. The time is now. The ceremony will be beginning. And he just talked through the rules and stuff. He was like, okay, there's a compost toilet bathroom on the side here. That's for number 2s and number 1s. In here, you're purging in here. We have the buckets. Stay in the ceremony room. That don't leave. It's what we're here for. We're purging, and that's part of the process.
Yeah.
And it's what I was just freaking myself out in my brain. I was like, oh my God, I'm with these people I don't know. I feel so uncomfortable. I'm still trying to be so normal, and like, it sounds weird. I was trying to act cool.
Yeah.
I'm saying this because it's important for what happened in the trip. So this
Yeah.
is I have to. So I was very aware of everyone around me, very aware of myself and how I looked and how I was being. And when he was talking about the purging, I started thinking, oh my goodness me, I don't want to do this. I don't want to purge in front of everyone. I was thinking thoughts like, what if I poo myself? All these thoughts started coming through my head, and I was
Right.
freaking out. I was like, oh my God, you know. So that was the thoughts there. And then that was all that was running through my head at this point. So then he was like, okay. He then gets these 2 cups and is like, so once the ceremony starts, I'm going to ask you to come and join me at the altar, and you'll have a choice. You can have, it's up to you, 1 large cup, 1 normal size cup, or you can have half a cup, quarter of a cup, anything. It's all up to you. Say what you want, and and I'll agree with you, yes or no. And I was thinking,
Oh,
oh
that's
my
interesting.
goodness. Yeah, right. I was like, what? It's on me? Because he knew it was another thing to say. I was the only person in the whole room who it's my first time. So I
Really?
also felt,
Wow.
yeah, so I also felt really awkward because everyone and some people knew each other. The people saying hello, chatting about last time. One person was like saying, oh, I guess, and that newbie was doing this. I was like, oh no, I'm a newbie, you know? So that made me feel, again, an awkward feeling.
Right.
Now I feel like that was so silly for me to think that because I love these people now. But anyway, at the time, you know, there's that. So yeah, the cups. He was like, you can choose. I was like, oh my goodness. So the time came for me to do my cup, and I went up, and I was like, 1 full cup.
Hell yeah,
You
Sam.
know
Hell
what? I
yeah.
was like, I'm here. I've done it. I've got this far. It's real. What's 1 full cup.
Going live.
Yep. And he went, yes.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Yep. He was like, yes. And so he pours the cup, and he says, happy travels. And you take it. And oh my gosh, I have to say about the cup. Oh my God, the taste. It was awful. It's thick, like
How
tar.
many ounce? I guess. How much liquid would you say it was in a full cup?
Um, so I'm British. I talk in milliliters. Let me think. I'd say 100 mil, maybe, or maybe 50 to 100 mil. So like a shot glass. Okay, it's like a double shot glass. Maybe say that.
Oh yeah, no,
Or maybe
that's a good bit of
yeah.
liquid. Okay.
It was a bit, and it's like a gulp. You had to do two gulps for it to go
Mm-hmm.
down, kind of thing. Yeah. And it was thick and grainy, and it's black, this thick, grainy black liquid. And something interesting, he had 2 big bottles of ayahuasca, and he said, one is my new batch, one is leftover from July's ceremony. And I thought, wow, that's the ceremony that Mark did. So I'm going to be drinking some of what Mark had. I just don't know why. I thought that was
That's
really
kind of
cool.
cool. Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, like we're going to share the same plant. Yeah, I drank the cup. Then
I
I
wonder
went and sat
if
down.
that makes any difference.
Yes,
I just, I don't know,
I know that.
random thought.
I think it does. I really think it. I think it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure. I went and sat down, and can you imagine? I sat there, and at this point, the lights. He turns all the lights off, and just one red light above his head. And also, I'm going on and on, but I'm getting it all
No,
out.
please. This is amazing. I'm
Yeah.
fascinated.
I forgot to mention that there's 3 other facilitators in the room, so workers. So it's not just him. There was a lady called Katie, and then Doran, and then a lovely lady called Sam as well. So they were all doing stuff as well, like cleansing the room, doing things, and they were there also. They're going to be like our guides, helping us too.
That's really
Um,
nice that you had like a
yeah,
kind of crew that was
a
there, just making
crew.
sure everything
Yeah.
was good.
And they were amazing. Like they were such an amazing team of people. Yeah, so we sat down. So think this, the lights are all off, just a one red light above the shaman's head. And he says, we will now observe a 30-minute silence. So you have to sit in silence, waiting for it to begin. And I felt this is when I felt awful. This was now taking a turn where I was just like, I've done it now. There's no escape. I can't get out. So then the thoughts were going around in my head now. Just me on my own in the dark with these thoughts and strangers. I was like, what do I do? I'm going to purge in front of everyone. I don't want to. How can I escape from this?
Right.
You know, what I need the toilet, and I kept thinking in my head, do I need to go to the bathroom? And I was kidding myself that I did, and I started giving myself like this weird tummy and this horrible tension in my stomach. And so this was going round and round for a while in my head until I finally just got up and left the room and went to the toilet. But when I went into the toilet, I didn't need to go to the bathroom. You know, I was kidding myself with these thoughts.
Yeah.
This was where I began tripping as well,
Yeah.
which is quite unfortunate. And I started doing this. I then went back in the ceremony room and would sit down. Okay, I was like, okay, relax, breathe. And I'd get up and go to the bathroom again. Nothing. I don't need to go to the bathroom, you know? And this is when the lovely Lady Sam came to rescue me. And she was like, my darling, you're stuck in a loop.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
She's like, do you realize that? Do you realize you're in a loop? And I was like, yes. How do I get out of this? And she was like, you need to ask yourself, why is this happening? You know, what's going on? And I was like, I'm freaking out. I think I'm going to poo myself in front of everyone. That's what I said. I was like, I'm going to poo myself in front of everyone. I keep coming to the loo, but I don't need to. But when I'm in the room, I feel like I need to. And she was
Yeah.
like, okay. She was like, okay, we need to recognize what this is about. This is so funny. This is where it begins, the breaking down the barriers of just not caring about in front of
Yeah.
strangers.
Yeah.
She was like, my darling, this isn't about you pooing yourself. This is something else. This is about shame, judgment, not being embarrassed in front of people. And she was like, what happens is you to come in the room now and not leave. And I was like, I can't do it. No. I was like, I can't. I'm gonna stay in here. She's like, you're gonna lose. She's like, you're gonna lose yourself in the toilet. And I was like, let me be in
Lost in
here.
the loo. Oh
Yes,
no.
God. And while all this is happening, I'm tripping absolute balls, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
everything, colors, shapes, kaleidoscopes, letters. I could hear the music coming from the tent, so there was musical notes floating around in the air. All of this stuff. And so she's like, let's go back in the ceremony room. And she was like, if you poo yourself everywhere, you do. Doesn't matter. We're there. I was like, oh my God. I was like, and I kind of started laughing. And I was like, hold on. This is what I wrote down on my piece of paper. How can I not be uncomfortable in front of everyone? And I
Right.
started laughing, thinking ayahuasca has a sense of humor, because ayahuasca's like, there's no way. You have to be uncomfortable in front of people sometimes, and this is the test. Can you poo in front of everyone? But it wasn't about pooing. I didn't poo. But that's what then I was laughing, thinking I thought this was the test. It's like, oh my God, I've got to go in the room and poo in front of everyone in the middle. So I walked in, and at this point the music was glorious. There was the shaman, he's on a guitar singing this beautiful music. There was this girl Katie singing in harmony. There was gongs, and I was like, I've arrived, I'm here to and I just let go. And when I say let go, don't worry, I didn't poo everywhere, all right guys. I purged, and I was like being sick into the bucket, like on the floor.
Yeah.
And I was like on the foot, but they couldn't get me to my bed in time. So I was lying in the middle of the floor of the whole ceremony room, just purging in front of everyone. Again, yay. Uncomfortable in front of everyone. Well, here we are. This is the most uncomfortable I've ever been. Yeah, no poo everywhere, I'm afraid, guys. So yeah, being sick in the bucket. But this was when the trip truly began, because I was just going into a dark tunnel, more and more and more. And I was like, the more I was purging and letting go, I thought, this means I'm going to die. Oh, I'm going to die, I concluded, if I keep doing this.
Yeah.
Now, Sam has now told me I had my head deep in the bucket. And my head was like my forehead was like in my sick. That was the dark tunnel. But to me, I was like, this is the dark tunnel. I'm going to die. So yeah, I concluded I'm going to die now. So if I let go, I'm going to die. So I started crying and I was like, why do you all want me to die? Why do you all want me to die? Um, yeah, I need to like look at my notes of what happened next because okay, so fear, yeah, so this is it. I thought everyone in the room was telling me to die and it would be okay. Now, really, the message here, I look back, it's okay to let go, right? It's okay to
Yeah.
let go. That's the message. But I was in my trip concluding, okay, everyone's telling me to die and it's okay. So I then let go. Let go. I don't even know what that was, but I died. I died.
Yeah,
And it
that
was
like that
sad.
peace.
Yeah, it was like sudden, and I was like going through the tunnel now into the light, and I was in the room again. But it was beautiful, it was stunning. I was alive, and everyone was still here. But I was crying, cry laughing. It was like hysterical cry laughter. That what? I've died. I just died, but now I'm back. This is like what the hell? And then I was purging more again. I was like, oh no, this means I'm going to die again. And so I died again. And then, oh, I came back to life. Now, this then went on for eternity to me in my head. It was going round and round, me dying, coming back, and everyone's still in the room, singing all these beautiful songs as well. And I then was so happy because I was like, every time I die, everyone's still here. And I was, yeah, basically just crying tears of joy because I realized that means life does go on, is what I was getting from this, and everyone's still here. We're all one. It's hard to explain why my brain concluded this and I knew this, but I knew that in that moment, we were all one. We always have been one. And for all time, this has been the way. And then everything was popping up over the mountains, and I was in some sort of jungle, mountains, trees, and the people that I was seeing, I knew they were our ancestors. They were our ancestors, and they were people that have always been there for millions of years, for all of time, mixed in
Yeah.
with everyone in the room. And I was like laughing, like, you knew it all along. We've always been here all along. And I was holding Sam, saying, thank you, my friend. Thank you for being here. All of this stuff, Um, and yeah, there was another weird thing that happened within this, though, is that I then thought, this was a weird thing. I don't know what this means, but at some point I thought if I died, I had the power to end the world.
Oh
I don't know
shit.
why I thought. Yeah, I said, and I was like, ha! And I started laughing. It felt like a terrifying demon laugh coming from within me. And I said, I have that power.
Oh
I was like,
no.
I can't believe I have this power. And this lady who was tripping as well, Heather, she laughed, right? So she laughed, and I thought that meant she had the power too. So I was like, haha, you have the power too. And then I concluded all women have the power. And I was like, of course we do. Ha ha ha. You know, we've
Fuck
had the
yeah.
power all along and all of this. And I thought, who knows what I thought there. But I'm glad I wrote that bit down because I forgot that. Yeah, we have the power to end the world.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Most reasonable
Um,
conclusion.
yeah, that's what I concluded. There we go, in that moment.
That's awesome.
um, and what I've written here in my notes is more laugh, crying, and hilarities is what I've written. And while all this was happening, I thought everyone in the room knew what was agreeing and knew what was going on. But obviously now I know that's not the case. Everyone's in their own trip, right?
Yeah. It's like
So they're all
your
doing,
own
yeah,
journey.
yeah. So they're all doing their own thing. But there's me thinking, haha, we're all in this together. you know. And
It's
I
funny though, because like like you can both acknowledge that everybody has their own experience, but like just hearing you share your experience,
Mm,
it there's parts of it that also are shared, like
yes.
things that I can relate to, and also in my own way kind of went through. Um, so it's cool. It's like we're all our own, but also
Mm.
one
We're
simultaneously.
one. Everyone has that conclusion, don't they, Retro? And then afterwards, when you speak to people, it's the main message from no matter what madness occurs, you know, me diving into a bucket of my own sick, you know, from
Yeah.
there I conclude we're all one and we're in, you know, love. And so my partner Mark had a similar thing where he was like, he was in the jungle and this and that happened. And again, it was like, we are all made of the same thing. Everything is, even the sea, even the vibrations, even music, everything's one. And I think that's the really beautiful thing about it. Everyone's having these trips, but we're all concluding the same thing. And so at the same time as that, the shaman, Matt, he's singing these beautiful songs, but they make so much sense to you. Some of them are mixed in with his own words. And he was saying things like, look in the mirror, what do you see? I am
Hmm.
you, you are me. And I was like, yes, going shouting, like, yes. Oh, and I don't remember this, but I was singing along, but my own made up words. I don't remember this.
Oh wow.
And they told me the next day. I was going, this is fucking bullshit. Um, but I think
Oh,
I was saying about the stuff that was happening, you know, and yeah, yeah,
that's so awesome.
yeah. And I was just singing along like real gobbledygook words. And apparently I was saying letters, random numbers, random sums, like A plus D is it equals Q. And they'll, you know, and so I don't know what that's weird to me because I don't know what that meant or what. But I guess that might have been my brain making sense of the things. And as long as I was having a great time, that's okay, you know.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, for anybody that's not ever done something like that, like it, the best way that I can describe it is that you you see sounds and you
Mm,
hear like words, if you will. Like it things the senses like get flipped upside down.
mm.
Uh, and so like, yeah, I mean, talking in letters and colors and things like that is like it may sound kind of wild, but
Yeah.
it's totally
It,
normal, if you will.
'Cause yeah, well, this is the thing I forgot to mention. While all this is happening, I'm still dying for eternity. I kept dying again and again, and each time I died, I felt like I got closer to the truth. This is strange. I don't know. And so I felt like each time it was up to me to find the answer. And I
Yeah,
guess I kept saying random stuff to be like, is this the answer? Or, you know, and it's
I
strange because yeah.
no, go keep going.
I should say it's strange because I also thought everyone in the room agreed with me with these letters. So when I was going like, you know, saying all this stuff, I thought everyone was agreeing with me. Like, yep, you're right. That is true.
Spot on, Sam. Spot
Yeah.
on.
Well done. Yeah.
uh
Oh,
it's
and
funny you mentioned that because like I I went through a very similar thing, and as soon as you said just the word loop at the very beginning, I was just like, oh yeah, but this is there's going to be a lot of things that we both experienced that are similar, but in our own ways. And like mine was, I honestly, uh, I went into this experience thinking that like questioning whether or not I was a decent person.
mm,
Which like there's been things that have happened to me over the years that like got me to a point of questioning that.
mm,
Uh, and so my experience was being in this loop of uh like battling my ego, if you will,
Mhm.
and you know, that piece that would be telling you like, oh, you're going to embarrass yourself in front of everyone
Mm.
and all of
Mm,
that, like
interesting. Mhm.
being super uncomfortable around
Yeah.
people. And the whole thing was like similar to you, like seeking that truth or that answer. Like I
Mm.
was trying to overcome that ego side of me,
Mm.
uh because I knew that like I was a decent person and that I had value to give, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it until I overcame that part of me, and that part of
Yeah.
me died, if you will.
Yes.
And
Oh,
that was the most terrifying, like exactly like you're describing, like a loop of death
yeah.
and fighting to the death, and it's just, oh yeah, that's
Again and again. It's
over
like
and over.
ayahuasca. It makes us, or the medicine, it makes us fight that point, that start, that it makes us fight that and go through it until
Yeah,
we can understand it. It's like you have to go through the darkness. There's no way it can just heal you. And I was saying to Mark, it's interesting, years of me having sort of depression and anxiety, the doctors will give me various drugs,
yeah,
um, you know, and that's that. They give that, which worked for me for a while. I loved it, but it numbed me. It didn't sort any of the darkness within.
yeah.
The reason this works for us is because it doesn't put a band-aid over it. It actually forces you to go into it, see
It
it, painfully work through it, and purge it out literally.
there
Um,
there is there is absolutely no doubt in my mind
mm,
a connection between the experience that you and I have had
mm,
and our deep love for the FromSoft
mhm.
games.
Yes.
Like, and I shared with you before we went live that
Mm,
like I had my retreat experience, and then I think
mm.
within like 2 days of getting back, Elden Ring came out, and
That's
I
so cool.
immediately just like got sucked in for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And pretty much since then, like I've just the experience that I had at the retreat and the experience that I kind of go through mentally playing
Mm,
those games and doing challenge runs has been so
mm.
similar. Uh, you know, obviously the retreat was like on a whole different level, but
Yeah.
uh, just really interesting, kind of seeing
Yeah.
those connections and other things, like other things that in life are really scary and challenging, and you have to have that battle to overcome it. You know?
Yeah. It's so you just can see it it's that part of integrating it back into life. It's like, okay, how,
Yeah.
we can't do ayahuasca every day, unfortunately. So we have to
Right.
find we have to take it with us, find many things where we can find this. And yes, yeah,
So
definitely. And
did
even
you?
though
I know you mentioned. Sorry. If
you
you,
go, no, please go.
I
Stop.
was gonna change gears a little bit. So I want to make sure
Mhm.
if you uh wanted to mention something about that we didn't totally
No,
derail
that was
you.
it. I was literally just gonna say the same with we've got an ice bath now, and that's a similar thing. Going through the pain, but you feel amazing after. That's it.
Wait,
That's
do
all
you
I can
actually
say.
have an ice bath now?
Yes, yeah, we got an ice
Oh
bath.
my
Yeah,
God, that's so
so
awesome.
good.
Hell
I
yeah.
highly recommend it for this exact thing we're speaking of. Um, Getting in, and the ice it feels horrendous, but then you go in an absolute state of calm and acceptance.
Yeah.
Time slows down, and you get out, and you feel it's that mini afterglow like what you get with after the plant medicine, but
Yeah.
on a smaller scale. Yeah.
And it's similar too, like when you've finally gotten through a run, you know, and it's just like that like just Zen state. Like
Yes.
you've finally overcome that thing.
Yeah.
Um, so I know that you mentioned like they started you off with something that was called Hape,
Yes.
and I think that I had something similar, but
Mhm.
it was like the uh same way that they introduced it to me, but I I was under the impression that it was DMT. Um,
Okay.
but it was weird because we definitely started off with ayahuasca, and then
Mhm.
as the night went on, there were other things that
Mm.
we also did. Um,
Ah.
so it was kind of like a combination, and like after a few hours is when I did the DMT thing,
Mhm.
and I was already pretty much like stuck in bed and not getting up at that point.
Yep.
Um, but I had a really like I ended up in the bathroom at one point,
Mhm.
but I don't think I ever ended up actually getting sick as far as I remember.
Mhm.
But then I ended up in the hallway,
Oh,
and this
yeah.
was like a big a big building with like 6 or 7 bedrooms, and the hallway connects all the bedrooms, and I was just literally on the floor in the hallway and like woke up, and the facilitator was sitting next to me on the floor with like a sage stick or something, and just like
Yeah.
cleansing the area. And
Yeah.
man, there was a point where I straight up was like thinking of myself as like the worst person imaginable.
Mm.
It was it was that was rough.
Because did you have a feeling of like you've ruined stuff because you're not in the right place and they've had to come out and help you? 'Cause this is something I felt.
I feel like a lot of it was the weight that I carried into the experience, because like I had done mushrooms previously,
Mm.
and I remember that like the first time I'd done mushrooms, I went into it and it was very just open, and I wasn't carrying baggage with me going into the experience. And then the second time, it was really shortly after my dad passing away, and it was a really rough experience.
Mm.
So I kind of went into this one knowing that it was gonna be challenging.
Mm.
Um, but there was my dad passing away, which I never really had processed. There was tons of other stuff that just kind of really got me to a place where, like I said, I just questioned whether I was a good person or not. You know, like for example, like being cheated on. Like it's totally not on me being
Yeah.
cheated on, but it made me think about myself in the worst of ways. Like if
Mm.
that's something somebody can do to me, then I must be like just the worst.
Mm.
um, so it added to that ego battle, because there's just so much that my ego had to use against me, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's cool that like, you know, you went into your experience wanting to become more open and sociable, and like that is exactly what the experience
Well,
brought you to, you know, like
it did.
maybe
It
not in the
did.
most ideal way for you, but
Yes.
it still did it
But this is the
nonetheless.
thing. It also did a thing where it went, haha, with your silly little things that you cared about. Because, like what you've just brought up there, it forced me also, loads of other stuff came up, stuff from my past, stuff from when I was a kid, stuff where, I was young. I was 15 when I started going out and doing drugs and hanging out with horrible older people. Now, I
Yeah.
don't really think about that very often, and I don't talk about that very often, but I was just sent me straight there. It was like,
Yeah.
ha, remember this? And it's like, oh no. And it's basically you can't hide from anything. It that's the thing. You can't, it doesn't let you. It
Yeah,
goes into your
there's no
body.
shortcuts. There's no
Yeah.
easy way.
It
It's
it comes all
yeah.
out. Yeah. So, you know, it kind of what it does is makes the things that you thought were important. I mean, it doesn't seem important to me anymore, being uncomfortable and awkward in front of people. I'm still maybe what some people would consider an awkward person if how I am, but I don't care.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I'm like, I'm gonna be myself. And from that, I've got my me back, I think, a bit as well, because I'm a silly childlike person, and for some reason I held back that for so many years, because I felt like it's weird and silly, but actually that's just me, and I'm happy like that. And a lot of people, so there's 2 days there's a second day of this, by the way.
Oh my freaking
There's a second
lord.
thing. Yeah, there's a second
Let's
trip. I
go.
won't, yeah, I won't go. That one, the second one's a bit more chill, but because I had this huge breakthrough. So, but at the end of the weekend, everyone was like, not everyone, but this lady Heather was like, "You're so lovely and childlike and playful." And the night I met you, you were just quiet and sat there, and I was like, "This is me now." It makes you
It,
come back to you.
I will say, like, obviously this is really like you and I's first time having a chance to talk one on one, but like the times that I've interacted with you over however many months that we've been following each other and tuning into each other's streams, like, uh, you've always been super fun and warm and kind, but there's definitely like something that happened that
Mm,
weekend that,
mm,
and maybe it's from like having gone through it myself, but like I can sense
mm.
that you're more comfortable with
Yes.
you, and you're more
Yeah.
comfortable with enjoying what you're doing and enjoying chat, and like there's not a piece that's being like held back, or like
Yeah.
reserved.
Or
And that
thinking,
that's been,
"Oh, that was silly. Yeah, I shouldn't have
yeah,
said
or
that."
like overthinking or second guessing
Yeah.
yourself. Like it's and that's super super cool. So that is, I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
not the only one that has picked up on that. So
Thank you. Yeah. It's just a strange one, but to quickly go just the second night trip, because
yeah, no,
what I
I'd
learned,
love to hear about
yeah,
it.
the first night was I forgot to tell you, I had a second cup the first
Oh
night as well.
my,
So yeah,
let's
so
go.
amongst all that, he said it's, so there's those 3 rounds, and I missed the second round because that's what I was purging everywhere. But then the third round, I was like, I'm gonna have another cup, so
Were
I
there
did,
people that
and
actually had 3 rounds?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
there was the first
wow.
night there was, yeah, but the second night no one did, because the second night it's still
Yeah, I'm
within
good,
you.
fam.
Yeah, yeah, the
uh,
second night is still within you a little bit, so. Um,
wow.
the second night, I was like, I've died for eternity last night. I want to chill a bit tonight.
Yeah,
I was taking it
take it
easy.
easy.
So yeah. So I just went up and had half a cup, but straight away I started tripping balls. I was like, okay,
Oh God.
we're going in, and started a mini loop, the same as the night before, of the
Really?
shame and embarrassment came back, shame and embarrassment of purging. But this time, this is what's so amazing. This time, I knew it was a loop, and I said, Sam, I'm going into a loop. And she says, I know you are, but we're not going to, are we? And I said, no. And I said, I
Fuck
know I'm in a
yeah.
loop. Yeah. And I was like, she's like, what are you going to do? And I was like, breathe. Because breathing is really important, because breathing grounds yourself, and you can still go deep into the trip, but also hold on to yourself and remember who you are within it. And so I really concentrated on everything I'd learned the night before from the experience, and I breathed. I leant over the bucket and was like, I'm not going anywhere. If I purge, it's gonna be in front of everyone. Breathe. And yeah, so I did that. And I then went into the trip, and all of the stuff come back, the kaleidoscopes, the letters, the
Hmm.
things, the shaman got out the part, what is it called, the steel pan drum, the thing, and it's got all the different it's like a gong type thing,
Does it
whatever.
like, do you do the ring around the edge of it and it like
Yes, it
hums
says
kind of?
gong. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, oh no, there was not that, but there was that later. It's like a pan, um drum. It's like a drum and a pan
Hmm.
in one. Let me put here steel pan steel
Yeah, and for anybody
drum.
that's just popping in, it's good to see you all. Happy Sunday. I'm hanging out with Sam, Samantha Teapot. We are talking about our
Hello.
medicinal retreat experiences. So just adding a little bit of context for anybody that's just popping in and doesn't know us talking about death loops. And
Yeah. I didn't die. I'm here. Don't worry.
also, son
This
of a
is
bee sting. I totally forgot to start the timer again, but that's fine. That's I'll
I've
just stream for
I've
the rest of my
put
life every
I've
every
put the
waking hour.
YouTube of what I'm talking about, this thing. So it's one of those. Um
I feel
so
like I'm like
he
picturing it maybe, but let's see if this is
it's like
freaking
dum, dum,
YouTube
dum,
ads.
dum, dum. Yeah, this is your streaming loop now, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're in a
Okay, no,
loop.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's one of
I've
those.
seen this
He
before.
got that out and it reacted. My body reacted to the sound and I couldn't control my body. Okay, this is wild, guys. My arm went boom and I was like up and it was like I felt the
Whoa.
sound from within and also coming out of it was colors and kaleidoscopes and shapes, snakes, all sorts of snakes intertwined. Like it was craziness. But my body also was like I was dry heaving because it was so intense. It was so intense that it was making me heave. I didn't purge, but this is just to explain literally what it was doing to my body. I was like, ooh. But it was cool. It was amazing. I was loving it. And
I
so
that's
that
like
was
I can't imagine like I hear of people going to concerts and stuff on, various hallucinogens, and I like thinking about
yeah.
not only hearing music normally, but also like seeing music and feeling
Yeah.
it on a whole other level. Like that sounds wild.
Yeah. It was wild. And then, the Katie, she got out all of those things. We used the bowls. This was the bowls now, the sound baths of bowls. So she had various different sizes of bowls and a thing that, like there goes the ring around it, like you just thought what I was talking about. And those were messing me up as well. Like, vroom, I was like, oh, I was rolling around on my bed, but I was also going, yes. And I was going, thank you. Because in this trip, I just felt nothing but love and gratitude and happiness for everyone around me. Like this was all that happened in this was just pure joy. And I think because of what had happened the night before, I was processing that all day, and this was almost like the finale of that. And it was now what you've learned is we're all one and love. And so I felt everyone in the room so happy for everyone. The music, I could see the music, I could see everyone. People were purging, and I felt love for them. Like it's these people, I just couldn't believe everyone here, and I felt all what they've been through in their lives, and it was just this like thing. I had my hand on my heart, and I was crying, laughing again. Lots of cry laughing. It's this.
Yeah,
It's like
lots of happy
unlocks a
tears.
yeah, it unlocks a new like laugh, cry from within that
Yeah.
is like a pure and like ugh. So that was more a chilled night, I'd say, and just enjoying the songs. And the guy, the shaman, sings some of the songs from last night, and so sometimes I'd say things like he'd start a song and I'd go, yes, this one, I love this one, because I'd remember it from the night before, and, stuff like that. And I kept saying thank you to him, thank you to all the other people, and I was like, thank you, I love you, everything. Um, and yeah, like I forgot to say, like when the ceremony comes to an end, they recognize everyone's coming to the end of their process, on their trip, and they have closing things, which is so cool. The shaman drinks this. Oh, it's called agua something, and he spits it into the air and the mist just flies everywhere, and then they put it on their hands, they put some for you, and you put this stuff on your hands, and it's like brings you out of it almost. It's like this
Hmm.
smell, it's like spices, and I don't know, that's really cool. So all of it all just ties in. It's like it comes to an end. That's it, the Florida water. Yeah, the Florida water stuff. And then we all hold hands, and then we breathe in, and you take in the energy from the person next to you, and you pass it down to the other person. And I could feel the energy. I could feel it going around, and and then it comes to an end. And then I forgot to say the best part of the whole thing, someone comes in with food.
Ooh.
And you can eat the food. And the best thing is like the after ceremony food, because you're like, you've been dying and being sick everywhere, and then you've got yummy food.
Okay,
So
what kind
that's
of food
cool.
did they bring? I have to know.
Yeah, so there was fruit, there was watermelon, there was freshly baked bread that was still warm. Okay, it was
Oh,
all I can say it's orgasmic, the food. Okay, and we're all on the floor huddled together eating this warm bread, and and there was what do you call it, hummus. There was a soup, like a potato soup.
oh God.
There was honey as well, just drizzling. I was just drizzling honey on bread. I had honey all over me. I was like, this is the best. It's so good. And then you all get into your little bed, and you get cozy, and you kind of nod off to sleep together. And so by the second night, I just felt like I was with my actual long lost like my family.
Yeah.
We'd been together for eternity together, and we'd been through these journeys, and it was just, this was the really beautiful part. When you think of when I got there on the Friday, I just couldn't wait to get home, and I thought I kept thinking, oh, just get through this, and then you can get home and back to your life.
Yep.
I couldn't get, I was felt so awkward in front of all these people. I was like, and then on the Sunday, I was just so happy, present, grounded, and content in this little yurt with these people, and just like cozy, and
It's so
there.
it's so cool to hear that like you got to have like a second round, and like
Mhm.
go into it with the experience that you had the night before, and like already having gone through that battle, like just being able
Mhm.
to go start that process of like the loop, and being able to
Yeah.
kind of Leonardo DiCaprio it and be like, I know
Yeah.
this is happening, I know that this is not like going to continue to happen. And
Yeah.
it's so cool because like I had a similar experience, but uh mine was just that one night.
Mm.
But there was a point where I realized what was happening. I realized that I
Mhm.
was in the loop.
Yeah.
And I like overcame that battle. And
Yes.
then
Well done.
that was the point where I went back into my room, laid in
Yeah.
bed, and they did the DMT thing.
Mhm.
And the rest of it was literally like me in bed with a weighted blanket, headphones on, listening to like, various songs like I sent you the other day. Um, and just being able to enjoy it, and like
Yeah.
that was when I was able to finally like experience the kaleidoscope and the
Mhm.
like visiting different points in time and different
Mhm.
like pre-time shit. Like it,
Yes.
it was
We all go there. We all go the retro. It's so cool.
yeah, like it's so I don't like the pre-time thing is
Yeah. Everyone sees it.
yeah, like that part, like just talking about all of us being one,
Yeah.
like the idea of time and experiencing a moment without that as a concept is just really it's really cool.
It's so cool.
But
It's hard, yeah. It's hard to
I
find words, isn't it? But
yeah,
because
it
it's
really
just,
is. And like one of my favorite things, uh like you coming out of your experience and feeling comfortable with the people that you were around, that initially you were like just tons of anxiety and second guessing yourself and feeling like you were going to be embarrassed in front of them and all of that, like
mm,
having that turnaround.
mm,
uh like my mom took me to the experience,
mm,
uh and I remember when I finally woke up, the first thing that I did was I just
mm.
texted my mom Marco with a question mark, and she immediately responded polo.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I have a screenshot of it in my phone, and
oh,
it's one of my favorite
go
things.
back. Yeah,
But it's
that's
just
lovely.
it's so cool, and I'm so glad that you got to go through that experience.
I'm glad for you as well, and I'm glad for everyone that has had it, and I want everyone to have it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like there's so much that we could like dive into deeper. Like I would totally be down to, get together again at some point
Sure.
and
Well,
chat
there's
some more.
more to discover and more to learn, and I'm now on a path, so I'm learning new things. You're probably learning new things, and I'll be like, we can have more chats like this, and my brain is open now, and
Yeah,
I'm a sponge, and I'm also so interested to talk to you and other people about this kind of thing now, and because I've always liked people and talking to people, but now I feel like I really have the time for people, and I felt like I didn't have that before, and I don't know why. Like, I was like, oh, I can't be letting people in. Oh, I can't be wasting time on people. This is a weird thing I had.
yeah.
Now I'm like, I've got all the time in the world. We're going to die again for eternity, so we may as well make friends along the way.
Yeah, really it makes you like you mentioned you kind of had an idea of what you thought was important going in, and you
Hmm.
come out like really realizing what actually is important.
Yeah,
Uh and like
sure. Yeah.
people is one of the
People.
biggest ones for me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
People
it's
and connection and love. It's the art, but then it's the answer to everything, really. So
it really
any
is.
problem you,
Like,
yeah, any problem you go in there with, it's like, well, yeah, people, connection, love, and it's like, okay, yeah, yeah, cool,
because
thanks.
so much of my experience with life, and that includes like my time of uh not being sober and being, just doing
Mm,
stupid shit,
mm,
and like all sorts of like it all has had uh a lot of like just loneliness, if you will. Like
mm,
I haven't had like
mm-hmm,
real strong people, and I've never made people like a huge
mm.
uh focus point, I guess.
Yeah, it
And
feels safe for us to do at the
yeah, and
time.
ever
I
since
get
that
that.
experience, like I'm willing to go through the heartache of getting to know people and having,
Yeah,
some of those people like not stick around, because I
yeah,
realized that's just like I don't want to go through this experience solo.
yes.
I want to be able to have conversations like this and share experiences and
Hmm.
bring other people into those experiences for themselves, and
Yeah,
uh
it's
just yeah.
that's life. That's what life's about. And then there is no other thing really, in life. I think that's the important thing as well. I was always like, what shall I do with my life? What shall I do? Da, da, da. But it's like, well, just there's nothing to do. Life's here. Life will be here regardless.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Just chill and connect with people, and that's it. You don't have to think too much more. Um, so it's cool. It's cool. Obviously, like, so I notice Ophenanim has said in chat
Hmm.
about if there's integration, and that's a really good point that I do want to make clear, because the the people that I sat with, and there was an amazing lady I've met called Sam, and her part of this is to help you integrate what you've learnt into life, because it can be super hard when you've done this to actually come back home, and this is something I struggled with, to come back. My job and my hobby, and streaming, and also my job is live chat customer service, so it was super hard to get back on a computer,
Yeah.
because you've just seen the beginning of time and your ancestors in the jungle, and
Yeah.
you're like, what, I just want to go back outside. But you integrate it, it's about, okay, to live life and to have a good life, you have to work, and you have to do these things, then you get money, and then you can do these things that you want. And therefore, I mean, I'm grateful. And so there's a bit of that. And there's a lot of work, because another thing that happens is, this happened with you, Retro, the dreams you have following it are wild, and stuff has come up in my dreams, like stuff from my past. And luckily I knew that would happen, because they have said it keeps working, and it comes to you on your dreams. So write down your dreams, because there's messages and things to learn in your dreams. And also, never take things literal, because it's always a different message, right? So
Yeah.
back to me pooing myself, it's not about pooing yourself. It's all these things, yes, you don't you don't want to have to run away to the jungle and live in the jungle. It's not about that. It's about connecting back to yourself, and
Yeah.
that's a really important part. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
to kind of answer your question a little bit as well, Afnem, I had a very similar experience to Sam's, minus it being a single day versus 2 days, but it was like a facility with people there that like specialize in going through that process. And then following the experience, there's an organization that, stays in touch with you for at least a handful of months afterwards, and just helps you process the experience and discuss just everyday situations and all of that. So there definitely is, at least the places that Sam and I went to, a smooth transition, or as smooth as it can be. But I'm sure there's probably places where that's not the case. But
Yeah.
Have you ever tried or know anybody that's ever tried ketamine treatments?
So I have had ketamine many times, but not in a treatment setting.
Okay.
So I have, but I don't know too much about the ketamine treatments that they offer, but I know that is a thing, and I can totally see again how that could do good, because it does send you into a deep place.
Yeah.
But I think with the ayahuasca, I think it's the way that it's very earthy, Mother Nature, and very respectful, and very like ceremonial. I don't know. There's like a whole respect around it.
Yeah,
But
a huge piece for me was definitely the setting, like knowing that I
yeah,
was in like up north Arizona in the woods, and
yeah,
it was like an adobe kind of structure, like building and house that they had, and
mm,
uh like that was huge. And I could definitely, like, I go to the doctor's office, and if I get a shot or blood drawn, I pass out. And a
mm,
huge reason I pass
mm,
out is because I hate that environment, and it just makes
yes,
me super,
clinical
super
setting.
tense.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I can imagine
Yeah.
ketamine being a bit
I think
awkward.
in that setting, yeah. And also with me, I think it was something I used to do recreationally, and got silly with. So I think I'd struggle to separate that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I could
I,
understand that.
yeah, but I think what works for everyone, I think a lot of it is tapping into this, going into yourself and finding what is already there. And a lot of these things help, do help with that.
Yeah.
Um, yes. It's very interesting. And
Well, I sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna see, I know we're already over the time that we had talked about, and it doesn't seem like there's been a ton of questions from chat as we've been talking, but maybe by chance people have been thinking or wondering stuff as we've been talking and just haven't dropped it in chat. But I don't want to keep you, like,
I,
way past the time. So
I'm quite happy now chatting.
cool, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
this has been a ton of fun. And again,
Yeah.
I know that we've kind of gone through like our experiences and all of that, but I feel like we could easily get together again
Yeah.
and
There's
talk
more,
for
I haven't
another
said.
hour or two.
Yeah, there's more little bits that I will remember and stuff that's, I forgot to mention about after each ceremony, there's the sharing circle. So an important part is
Ooh, that's cool.
yes, yes, each person goes around. We have the sleep first. So we end the ceremony, you eat the food, then you have your sleepy. That's it. And then we wake up and then the shaman comes back in and everything. And then we sit around and we talk. And honestly, on the second night, I was in tears at other people's things, what they were saying. And again, because you have that empathy and love now,
Yeah.
and just hearing everyone's journeys, it's an amazing part of it is everyone else's journeys, what they go through. And I forgot to say on the second night, I got to see two other people go through what I went through the night before. So they had the loop, the death loops.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to I felt like this feeling of like empathy, just this huge empathy feeling because I know where they are. And I felt like just giving my love and energy to them and I felt proud that I was strong enough to deal with my own trip there and my own loop to be able to, the facilitators were able to concentrate on them. I felt like I had my journey, now they're having theirs. So that's a lovely, huge part of it as well.
That's so freaking cool. And like I know I don't have to apologize, but I also apologize because like all of my so much of this time of me processing this has been uh with streaming and with focusing on like the FromSoft games, and I I didn't get to experience it with like a group of people, but I so relate to that sense of like communal pride, and also like
Mm,
you recognizing that those people are going through what you've gone through,
yeah,
and rather than like getting yourself involved, like you acknowledged that they had to go through it and you sat back
yeah,
and you let the facilitators kind of guide them
yeah,
through that experience. Is
yeah.
just like it's so directly related to like, you know, respecting people's playthroughs and how they choose to go
Hmm.
about those challenge runs, and
Yeah,
um knowing that it's a process and that it's difficult, but it's something
yeah,
that like we all should be able to have our own
yes,
journey, you know. Uh,
yeah.
and it's just
Respecting
cool
other
being able to
people's
see that
journey.
so often in this community. I just love it so
Yeah,
much for that.
yeah, yeah. And just, I think it applies even to real life as well, It's that recognizing everyone's going through something, everyone's got their own journeys. And so once you realize that, that's where you can now have that empathy for every single person. So
Yeah.
we could even apply it just to like general life, even you're walking in the shops and maybe someone's bumped into you with their trolley. It's like, well, they've got their journey, they're going through that. We're all on this journey. Let's just be empathetic, and that's really, I've been really, really trying to integrate that into life and think about that when I'm going about my day.
It's really tough. Like, and that's why
Mm.
it's why I am so grateful for the FromSoft and Souls community, because like it's the way that, you know, obviously there's bad apples here and there, but like
Mm.
overall everybody is so supportive of one another. Everyone is so like proud of one another's accomplishments, and it makes that process of incorporating empathy a lot easier. But like outside of that for me has been such a challenge. Like,
Mhm, mhm.
you know, like uh, interacting with other people that don't feel quite as empathetic or
Yeah.
considering of or considerate of others. Like it just it's a challenge.
Mhm, mhm.
But
Yeah.
And I feel
That's
like
it.
that's why
That's
I want to do it again at some point.
sure. Yeah, that I think that the first time we do it, it opens us up to it, but we're easier. We recognize new challenges and new things, and so I think it's an ongoing thing, and we can definitely return to it. We'll have stronger intentions as well. So you've now recognized that thing, that challenge within, with other people, so you can
I
now
can't
go and yeah.
I
And
keep
I
I
think
keep
that's
just thinking about it like a challenge run right now. Like, oh,
yeah,
I've done the first playthrough.
yeah,
Now's
yeah, yes.
the
Right. We've done the
BL4.
tutorial. We've done the tutorial boss. And now we're gonna. So it's interesting. My partner Mark, he is gonna go back as well. And a lot of people that you meet there, they'll do it a few times because it's like the work continues, and now
Yeah.
it almost opens you up to recognize new things, what needs sorting, and you can be like, okay, this I'm gonna sort this next. And I've got to tell you, but there's an old man there called Rusty, and he is 75, and he was sat with us.
Wow.
Yeah. And he did his first cup of ayahuasca 4 years ago,
Oh
and
wow.
since then he's done it. I don't know, Mark, how many times has Rusty done ayahuasca? More than 20 times now.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was amazing. Like the insights he had. The insight he had, Bloodborne, his eyes were open. He was wonderful, wonderful man. He was just lovely. And it was his birthday when I was there as well,
Oh, that's cool.
which is pretty cool. He chose to, sit with us for his birthday. And again, he's someone at that end of his life, and he's still discovering things. And he says there's still more stuff for him to discover and learn. And yeah, this is super
And
cool.
it's so awesome too, because like just thinking about your experience and like the first night compared to the second night where you're able to like see what was happening and acknowledge it and move on from it so quickly and just absorb the experience after that, like
Yeah.
being able to do that over however many years, like just constantly evolving and
Mm.
improving and getting, like for me, I feel like there's a lot of pieces that I I would like to also die, not just the
Mhm.
ego.
Yep.
um
Yep.
so I definitely can see it being a
Yeah.
constant journey.
Yeah, just the work goes on, and I think it makes I'm not afraid for the work. That's the thing. I'm
Yeah.
not ignoring it now. I'm just really I feel like very in tune with, and I'm writing stuff down ready. So Sam, I've got a one-to-one with her next week. So you have a one-to-one two
Nice.
weeks after. Yeah, and we chat. I'm just looking forward to chatting with her because she's so lovely as well. I think I kept telling her, I was like, "You're so beautiful." But she was so beautiful. She appeared to me in my trip as well, like a wolf. I told her this.
Oh,
She came to me and she helped me, and she was like, putting that I don't know, like water stuff, the Florida water at me,
yeah,
and she was like with all our ancestors, and she was there, and she was a wolf. And I
that's
told her that I
awesome.
said, you appeared to me as a wolf, and she was like, yeah, my dad's, my family are hunters and all of this, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I felt like I saw like our ancestors. They were all hunters in the jungle, and then she was like, I don't know. I was like,
That's
ooh,
so cool.
yeah, that was really cool. I digressed a bit there, but yeah, basically just talking about the work. It continues, and I'm very grateful to be, I don't know, able to
Yeah,
do
it
it.
kind of it really, like those important things, that you realize going through that, like it the process of growing closer to those things or improving those things, it becomes less like tedious, and you
Yes.
realize the importance of taking those steps and going through
Yep.
that process.
Yeah.
uh and that's like I've tried to take that as best as I can with challenge running because I can see that there's like a mental journey that you go through of like,
Mhm.
there's no way I'm gonna do this all the way to the end of like, holy shit, I did this. And like that process
Mm.
is very, very similar, like of,
Mm.
you know, doubting yourself and that ego side telling you that you can't. And
Yeah.
uh I just, I don't know. I've loved,
The loop as well.
yeah,
Dying to a boss again and again is
yeah,
like the death loop.
literally,
And so
exactly,
yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely now we can do anything in these challenge runs because we've died for eternity. So
yeah. And it's
what's
like literally now we're
530?
doing it live in front of people, you know.
Yes, yeah.
It's it's wild, but yeah, it's so cool. I think what would be really cool is uh you know, maybe at some point like getting a handful of us that have
Mhm.
gone through it and all just getting
Mhm.
together and talking about, because I know there's at least a couple
Mhm.
others. Like I know I mentioned somebody when we were talking before getting on stream,
Oh,
but
crunchy sunflower.
yeah. And I know I'm sure there's other people too. It's just a matter of, you
Mhm.
know, who feels comfortable sharing that because it is pretty personal. But
I'm up for that. Yeah, I find it.
often has, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I think this is part of it though. Part of it is the sharing and
Yeah.
discussing it, I think, and it helps you so much. Like just now, us talking about this, I'm thinking of new things, and even the shaman Matt, he even said he was like, I learn new stuff each time I do a ceremony from you lot, from what stuff you go through.
Yeah.
It's a constant thing. So we
I
can all learn
honestly
from
like
each other.
the whole uh like death of the ego thing,
Mm,
like that wasn't how I perceived it
mm,
until just a couple months ago. And I was having
mhm,
conversations with other people that had gone through it, and that was how they like that's how they chose to express it themselves. And I was like, oh shit,
mm,
like that is so
mm,
in line with what I experienced too.
mm.
Um,
It's the death of the sort of your perceived version of yourself, that your what you want people to see, this
yeah,
this persona you create that you would like people to see you as, and actually you die, it's like, well, that's gone because that doesn't exist. So that's gone
yeah,
with it all. And then you realize that it's very pointless having that, doing that.
yeah. And it's interesting. Like, I mean, so much of streaming and content creation has been part of my processing
Mm.
uh, of that experience. And
Yes.
there's pieces of me that I can feel kind of coming back that I don't want to. And
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. It's cool because like every time I have a conversation like this, it's kind of bringing that night two awareness, you know, that
Yeah.
you had, and
Yeah.
it's like acknowledging it, bringing it out in the open, and uh, it really does help like
Hmm.
kind of shove it back away, you know, like
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like sometimes like a dream is it's a dream that you have to keep reminding yourself of,
yeah,
and the further we get away from it, the harder it is to remember.
yeah,
So
no,
that's why
absolutely,
we keep
absolutely,
doing different things to try and keep it up. So that's why we've got our ice bath as well. So on a smaller level, we can do a little thing in the morning that's going to remind us.
that's super
Shockingly.
cool. Well, and it's funny too that you mentioned that because like only so when I first got back, I was listening to the playlist that I listened to during the experience afterwards, and I did that for I don't know, maybe a couple months or something, and I hadn't done that for the last almost 2 years up until a couple weeks ago, and I started listening to at least that one song that I sent you that's like 30
Yeah.
minutes. And it's just I don't yeah, there's things that you can do that kind of can reground you, if you will. And
Oh yeah. The
I
music is a huge part of
yeah,
that, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Because it's like it's like music is all has always been one of those things that I connect with, but that particular stretch of
Mm.
time and how I experienced music was unlike
Mm.
any other form of it before, you know? Like it was so many different ways of perceiving music that I never had
Mhm.
previously.
Mhm. The frequencies like do stuff to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that and that's something I wasn't expecting. I mean, I didn't expect any of it. That's another thing. You can go in with absolute. You can't expect anything or plan
Yeah.
anything. That's what Rusty, the old man, the old wise man. He did say to me the next morning because I said, "Oh, I'd planned this," and he put his hand on my shoulder and he just says, "Never plan for anything in life. It never goes the way you want it to."
Yeah.
I just felt like I was touched by a wizard, telling me this insight, and I was like, "It's so true." Like, what everything went out the window. What was I even trying to control my ayahuasca trip? What was I thinking? But I
Damn.
didn't expect the music to do stuff to me physically, my body.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
super, super
amazing.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because like I think by the
Uh,
time I was able to fully like appreciate the music, uh I I was just so tapped out. Like I didn't get out of
mm.
that bed for like 12 hours. Like I just
Oh
laid there and
wow.
it just the
Yeah.
playlist played on repeat and I just was
Wow.
sucked into that bed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I definitely do remember that music taking me on quite quite a journey.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's so cool. Uh, I love that it's
Um,
just there.
Chat I guess are there any particular questions? I know Nick's you mentioned like how often can people do it, and I think that just depends on the person, honestly. Like it's the one that I went through uh is definitely not something that most people would want to do on a multi times a year basis.
Mm.
Uh, but you know, who knows what Rusty the Gray has done in his hundreds of years of life.
It's
So
yeah, it's
that
individual. And they say you wait to hear the calling, which is like you wait till it feels right for you.
yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like I just I don't know. There's something about like these unique conversations that I've had all in a short stretch of time that uh just kind of makes me think like is this something that's telling me that I should think about
Mm.
trying to go back a second
Mm-hmm.
time.
It could be. It could be the thing. Yeah.
Waika, do you need to have a positive mindset to do it? What if you have a depressive nature?
Mm. I think it's all kinds of people. I think that the medicine, like the ayahuasca, whatever, it's so strong and so powerful. I think you come to it in any state, it's just gonna do what it does to you. Like if so, if you're a positive person, it's still gonna mess you up. You know what I mean? It's still gonna
Yeah,
show you the darkness because it's about going through the darkness. So if anything, if you've got a depressive nature, it's gonna you're already there. You're already in that dark place. So it's going to go deeper maybe and help you. But I think it's so individual there's people have got so many different things. I think
I
it's
never really thought
hard.
about it like that before, but that's like it
Mm.
makes like thinking about somebody that's going in with very little baggage.
Mm.
I could absolutely see that experience being uh more polarizing, you
Mm.
know, because like you're not like somebody that's already, you know,
Mm-hmm.
living with depression and anxiety, like you're already experiencing some of
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And it not to say that it makes it any better, but you're at
Mm.
least like accustomed to it in a way,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. Like
Um,
maybe you go in someone who's like, I've got my life together, I'm the best. Maybe I don't know, I'm super happy at everything I've gotten in life, and then it will show you darkness you didn't even know was there. It would
yeah.
be like a shock, it would probably be a shock. So uh that's a really interesting point though, Waika. Like that's really made me think. Like, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too is like like before the actual uh like facilitated experience, I had two experiences with mushrooms, and like the first one went into it and it was like very little baggage, had a ton of fun, great trip.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, very shortly after I lost my dad and hadn't processed that situation, and it was a terrible trip.
Yeah.
Uh, and that was like situational, like based on what I was going through at the time. But so much of it too is like your environment, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
being in such a good environment and having,
Mm-hmm.
you know, good people around you too. Uh,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it makes me happy to hear that that was how yours went, because
Yeah.
like for me, you know, doing it with my mom was super cool, but it was also
Mm-hmm.
uh like I think that there was part of me afterwards that wanted kind of what you had, where you got to like see others go through their experiences to a degree and like share that experience with a group.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's a huge piece of it too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not to say that you need to have people with
Mm.
you. Like I think just having people that knew what they were doing and knew
Yeah.
how to handle situations made me feel very comfortable once we got things going.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of anxiety and whatnot too going into
Mm.
that trip. It was not
No,
my
it's
mom and I were not
terrifying.
in the greatest of places either, so it was just like,
Mm.
is this gonna go well? Is it not gonna go well? So that whole Marco
I think,
Polo thing was
yeah, that's so
just
sweet.
a
Like,
really cool moment.
I think it's good to have anxiety going into it because it's
Yeah.
such a huge thing. I think it's very good, and it's another thing. It's like, okay, it's a human thing to have fear and anxiety, and I think that's part of it as well, breaking through that, like doing this even though you've got the anxiety is a big part of it, even getting the train there, the journey, you've done all of this. It's like that's all a big part of it, and then you have the moment, the breakthrough, and it's like it's all on you. You've done it, and I think that's a super cool little message you
Yeah,
can
no,
get from that.
it is it's almost like if you're going into it like completely worry free,
Mm.
uh it's almost kind of like just having the wrong expectations, you know, like
Yeah.
it's meant to be a learning journey, you know, and if you're going into it like without any sort of feelings, then I feel like you're kind of going into it with a bit of ego and like I know how this is
Yes.
going to go type of thing, but really it's like
Yeah.
you just have to go along with the ride, you know.
Have to,
Uh
yeah, you have to surrender yourself. This is it. You just have to let go. And that is such a huge on my first night, that was a big, huge thing. Like letting go, and letting go was like dying. And it's like at some points I was like, I don't want to let go, and like, why, and it's like, what are you so afraid of? And I think it's once I was able to go through that, it's when I got all of the messages and all of the stuff and all of the work happens. And so it's just such a huge thing about it is surrendering to, I don't know, surrendering to it,
Yeah.
and no one can control it. No one can. If anything, if you fight it, it's worse. You get in a loop. So
Yeah. I'm obvious.
mm,
I've not said this, but I've been thinking it the whole freaking time. I'm so
yeah.
glad that you didn't shit yourself. Uh,
Yes.
like, it's, I
I'm
feel like I probably would have gone through a very similar thing with the whole purging situation,
mm,
but at least Mr. Ayahuasca went that route and not the other way, you know?
yeah, it can happen though, and that's the thing. And I think I was thinking about that so much, but now from all of that, because I went into the room and accepted I might shit myself.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like it's okay. Like, I'm not afraid of that anymore.
Yeah, you've passed the test.
Yeah, yeah, you passed the test. Oh,
Well,
yeah. Again, yeah.
no, go ahead, please.
I should say again, ayahuasca has a sense of humor as well. That's
Yeah, it absolutely. It's like
yeah,
very much a troll, but it's a
yes.
loving troll that just wants you to go through the experience, you know?
Hmm.
I feel like there was other things that we also like besides the peyote or not peyote, the ayahuasca and DMT. There was other things that we also did, and I totally lost track of what that was. But like I remember two drinks.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
um, and also I just noticed Ajax mentioned
Mm.
something as well. Some people don't exactly know what's wrong in their life. It can be for various reasons, positive or negative. Some people
Mm.
see things too optimistically and focus only on the good parts, which is good, but it has its flaws as they may not be able to figure out and pinpoint the things that actually is hampering and needs attention in the long term. Yeah. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I definitely even now like I've caught myself in a loop of like overthinking things to the point
Mm.
where just the overthinking prevents me from making any sort of change or
Yeah.
improvement. And that's why it's like that that death of the ego was also the death of like me overthinking and me
Mm.
making decisions based on how people would respond or react or
Hmm.
feel or and that's why like
Yeah.
streaming has been such a test and challenge of that because like nobody's gonna do this for me, you know. Nobody's gonna
Mm.
stream for me and grow server and community and channels. Like
Hmm.
that's all on me. And uh, yeah, there's definitely days where I like sitting there is overthinking about whether I'm being authentic, and the
Mm.
overthinking leads me to being inauthentic, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
The loop
Yeah.
begins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like that thing. As long as we're just speaking our truth, it's gonna be fine. Because it has to be, because this is the truth. So
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
like, yeah.
And Chloe, good on you for
Yes, Chloe.
getting that stuff out, whatever it was, and just sharing it with someone. That's super awesome. Um,
Yes, and it feels good.
Yeah, I like obviously I am not a therapist or anything of the sort, but I've always like tried to express to people that like I'd so much rather somebody reach out to me with something like that than have to
Hmm.
hold on to it
Yeah.
on their own, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like um and I feel like it's a lot easier having gone through an experience like that, kind of realizing that kind of perspective, but
Yeah.
um Sam, I don't want to like tell you to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Um
I know.
but I
Yeah.
also
I must.
okay. I just wanted to get a feel and see how
Yeah.
you were feeling.
I will. Yeah. We can slowly wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah, if
We've.
anybody has any last minute questions for Samurai, please feel free to drop them in the chat.
It's difficult because
Um,
I could literally talk like this for hours.
yeah,
It's
and again,
But
I would love to maybe in a
yes.
couple weeks or a month, we can get
Yeah.
together again and chat about what you've processed since this conversation.
Yeah.
Um,
100%. I was about to say the same thing. Like we must check in
yeah,
and
and maybe I can get some feelers out there, just hanging out in different chats and maybe make
yeah.
a post on Twitter or something, just see if there's anybody else that would be interested in hanging out and
Hmm.
chatting with us too.
Yeah. And I think it's just so helpful for me anyway. So please let's because it's helping me process stuff already.
Yeah.
And
I probably said samurai and it was more of a than a or.
or yeah.
That's
But I
I
like
definitely could see
samurai.
myself doing that.
Yeah. Your wife says
But
no way this could be done in an hour. It's true.
yeah, no, there's just so much to go over, and like as time goes on, there's just more and more that's being
More.
processed, and so we'll definitely have more to chat about
Yes.
next time, which I'm glad we
Sure.
both are open to doing this again, because yeah,
Sure.
like I feel like next time we could be, I don't know, I feel like that'll be enough time where there will be like past connections and things like that you've made, of like
Hmm.
the version of you now that's gone through that experience, like has kind of gone back and looked at past experiences and how you would kind of go about them,
Yeah.
and future experiences, and uh
Yeah. Maybe I would have made sense of why I thought I could end the world.
yeah, maybe we'll have some clarity on that would be great. Definitely a follow up on that would be wonderful.
What does that
I
mean?
think we all would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thank you so much for doing this, Sam, and thank you for being so down to do it like last minute. I
Thank you.
just brought
Thank
this
you
up
for
to her like 2 or 3 days ago, and she was like immediately yes, and
asking.
went
Let me talk
went
about it,
with
please.
went with the wind on it, and uh yeah, with the subathon and everything, it's been a bit weird to like plan stuff and
It's been
prep
great.
stuff, and uh yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time, especially on a work night and after streaming earlier today. uh
I'm happy, so happy to do this. Thank
but yeah,
you.
you guys, if you are not following Sam, please go check out her channel, drop her a follow. She's currently going through Hitless Bloodborne at the moment, absolutely crushing it. Uh,
Thank you.
but yeah, please get some good sleeps.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I will definitely reach out at some point in the next couple weeks. You said you're doing like your 2 week follow up this coming week?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll definitely do it after that so that you can
Yeah.
chat with Sam, and I think that'll be
Yes.
cool to hear how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Lots more things in my
Um,
notebook.
yeah. Well, get some good rest. Have a good
Yeah.
good start to your week. Everybody say goodbye to Sam.
Goodbye, everyone.
Get a
Thank you for listening. Hope it was helpful. And thank you, Retro, so much for chatting with me and sharing your experience with me as well. Can I just say, because again, listening to people's experiences is just really helps as well. So thank you. I'm going to have a good sleep now and sleep
and
soon.
if you're down
And
to just throwing it out there, I would absolutely be down to do what we did, but like on your stream if you wanted to.
yeah,
But
yeah.
also 100% understand, no pressure if you
Hmm.
not want to do that. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, we can do
but we can
this sort
talk
of
about
thing.
that.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I super appreciate you, Sam. It has been awesome getting to know you over the last handful of months.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Same.
seriously so appreciate that this is something that we get to just share together. And if you ever need anything, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
always here.
Same,
But yeah,
same, same. Reach out, same.
same, same.
Same, same. I'm you, you're me. No.
We are one.
We are one. Okay.
All right,
Nighty
Sam.
night, everyone.
Nighty
Speak
night. Get good
soon. Nighty
sleeps.
night. Bye. Bye bye bye.
Bye. Ugh. You all, that was so amazing. That was freaking, ugh. That just, I don't know. I've not done something like that on stream in way too long, and I don't know. It without getting too cheesy, because if I get too cheesy, I'm gonna start like tearing up, and if I start tearing up, it's gonna be bad. But uh, having like interactions like that, uh, it just means a lot, and I fucking I just so appreciate all of you a ton, and being here, hanging out, asking questions. Uh, yeah, it's chats like that that just really remind me how grateful and how lucky I am to have come across this community. And um I've gotten to meet all of you and hang out with all of you and see all of your wins, and it's super cool. Don't want to tear up, so I shouldn't be solemnly swearing that I am up to no good right now. Dear God, Zay, don't you I can't remember what the name of the map is. The Marauder, is it the Marauders map? I think it's the Marauders map. Basic, thank you for the love, dude. I super appreciate you. I hope you're having a good Sunday. And thank you everybody as well, just for understanding that, like, doing something like that, I wanted to give my full attention to Sam and listening to what she was saying and hearing her story, and uh like, not that I would expect any of you to do this, but like spamming the same message over if I'm missing something. Like, I just appreciate you all understanding that I was uh trying to be focusing on what Sam was saying. So oh God, that shit fills up my cup, that that is the stuff that, like, just gets me so fired up to, like, do more of that. Like, I'm excited that she's open to getting together again. I'm hoping that I can find some other awesome creators that may be open to sharing their their experience as well. Here, take this. It's dangerous to go alone. Yes. Indeed. Yes. Okay, you all. So I need to... Jesus fucking Christ, Zay. What? What? Dude. And the... Zay with the fucking 50 gifted subs and then Twitch coming in with 16 on top. What? Bro, I'm already sweating bullets. All right, we got some names, folks. You ready for this? Wait, did it only show? Okay, no. This is all of them, I think. Dude, Zay, what the heck? Thank you so freaking much. Zay with the 50 gifted subs. Let me go through these ones and then we'll do the Twitch ones. Vix Rora, Doji, Illuminary, Adidas, Ophanim, let's go. Indra, Victus, Fiol, Dennis, Little One You Are, Sam, let's go. Vaz, Chloe, Light Fours, Waika, Prof, Impalimp, Oldered, Cliff, Brett, so many amazing humans. Holy shit. That was insane RNG. Bubba, BC Gamer, Bunny, Math? I think that's Math. Vaughn, Kiggy, Tyler, so many amazing humans. Let's go. Vomit, Albalas, Cactus, Mrs. Boothroyd, LZ Lacacha, the Gamo Sapien, Gray, Taelta, Takina, Gucci, Ashley. Also, you guys, if you are not following Ashley, go and check her out. She is currently doing her 1-year stream anniversary. She's playing Sneak Out. Amazing human. For those that are also in Canada, she is a Canadian-based streamer. But safe space, awesome humans. They do a lot of community stuff, a lot of really good fundraisers as well. But definitely go wish her happy affiliate anniversary. Cole, Bruce, Julian, Kritzen, Sergeant, Loun Bear, Ari, Scragglebum, Syar Gamer, Sergeant Woods, Witness This, Doom Dealer, and Jake the Slayer. Zay, bro, what? Actually, what? That's insane, dude. And then Twitch coming in with Chet, Jam, Prof's wife, not to be confused with Professor X's wife, Samurai, Dwarf, G-Bave, I'm not sure, Jinsu, Ghostface, Ninja Man, OG Bobby, Mitchell, Crisco Kid. Reminds me of a Sublime song. My Lord Bob, Breed, Pizza for Brains, Babotosh, Vix. Wait, okay, no, we're getting back. Okay. Zay, thank you so much. And that's crazy. Twitch coming in with 16 additional subs on top of that. What the heck? Oh, okay, hold on. Let me think here. So that's 66. I'm trying to do math. Um, okay, let me. Freaking A, Zay. This means exactly what I'm afraid that it means. Okay. I I need to pull out a calculator because brain is just not working right now. Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm updating the announcement so that the list actually reflects what is accurate. Okay. All right. So, uh, Zay, I will leave it up to you, good sir. Um, again, thank you so much, dude. That I mean, you already gifted me a game which I'm like super hyped to play. Believe it or not, the last 2 nights I have like at separate times done searches and looked into it and building anticipation. Uh, how much time does that add? So this is how the time is broken down. Wait, is it just not working? Hold on. Also, oh no, dude. Fuck. Hold on. Shit. Okay, so this should it's probably going to come up with my current time or not. There we go. Okay, so that's how the time breaks down. So yeah, basically we're back to over 48 hours. uh I I don't know, Ajax. That's a really good question. That's a really good question. I'm not sure because it shouldn't be just based off like one event type in the chat, like if it definitely should start a hype train with 50 gifted subs versus like forcing it to be like 50 gifted subs plus like another form like bits or something. I don't know. That is really weird. Um yeah, so I guess let's see. 10 minutes times 66. 11. Wait. I'm confused. How is that working out like that? I don't understand. I swear, dude, if it's like if somebody say gifts 5 subs or 10 subs or 50 subs, like, and it's only counting that as like 1 sub action. Oh man. All right, let me see. It requires 2 actions, dude. That's a bit ridiculous, Twitch. Like 50 gifted subs. Really? Wait, it even says, oh, there's like a pop-up thing that came up or something? Bro, that, Zay, thank you, dude. All right, so Zay, it's up to you. We have with the 50 gifted from you and the 16 on top, that brings us to 97 total gifted subs. So in that gift moment, we have crossed both the Demon of Hatred as well as the Dark Souls 1 SL1. So yeah, I'll leave it up to you. We can start with either one. Eventually I will maybe today also just dive into the other one, like do a few hours of each or something. I don't know, but yeah, the plan was once I hit 50 subs, I would immediately go into Demon of Hatred. And once I hit 75, but I did not anticipate that happening at the same time. Also, man, okay. Oh shit, dude. We've got a confetti cannon, which it's a good thing that I have not gotten my soda filled up yet, because guaranteed there would be some confetti floating around in there. So we've got a large confetti cannon, which I've got them right behind me, so we'll do that here in just a couple minutes. And then we also have the wax strip. Dude, oh my god. Oh, let's go. Okay, so that also brings us to the Darth Vader Lego kit as well, which is I already have the Lego kit itself. So just we'll have to schedule a date to get that going. And also I need to figure out, I'll probably figure it out before then, because I want to get a plan in for the comic that I'm probably going to read tomorrow. So that tomorrow will help with figuring that out for the Lego kit and how I want to like set up a cam for that. So it was too close. I had to. My Lockety Meep. Let's go. Bizbach. Yo, Prof. Good to see you, dude. And I'm pretty sure I saw you pop in earlier when I was hanging out with Sam. I appreciate you being here, popping in. Yeah, I was definitely very, very much focused on Sam and what she had to share. So I sort of left chat in the dust for a little while there. I say Demon of Hatred, but if you start beating your brain against the wall, please take a break from it. Okay. Let me update that. So here's the thing. I'm gonna have to double check and make sure that the PC is okay with running it, because it is on Steam that I have it like saved up to that point. Otherwise, worst case scenario, if those saves are not there any longer, I do have Sekiro on the modded PS4, and I also have the boss rush added to that version of Sekiro, so we could just go in and do it that way. But also the only catch with that is that if I go straight into the boss rush mode and right into Demon of Hatred, I'm literally fighting Demon of Hatred at AP1. So that maybe is not the best plan. My plan is complete. Meep, it's good to see you, dude. Hope you've been having a good Sunday. Okay. Yeah, just give me a couple minutes, y'all. I just want to take a few minutes and kind of just absorb the conversation that Sam and I had, and I'm probably gonna get up and use the restroom, stretch, grab a drink. So if anybody else needs to do any things before we get into it. I will switch over. God, it's been so long since I've played Sekiro. Oh, shit. This is gonna be rough. Hey, Retro, I love you. Enjoy your break. We will catch you when you return. Have good reflections, Zay. I love you too, dude. I really, really appreciate you. Basic, I love you. Love all you guys. Yeah. Y'all are the best. And it means so much that, like, I know I can have a stream like that, hanging out and having a chat with someone, uh, and that, like, the people that are hanging out in chat get it and want to be a part of it and appreciate it, and you know, maybe not everybody in chat has like gone through the same experience that Sam and I was sharing today, but you know, I mentioned the community and just all of us caring for each other and supporting one another and hyping each other up and having that like communal pride, and streams like that just make me really, really feel that. And yeah, lots and lots of gratitude. Yo, Ajax, thank you for the request. Let's go. Okay, guys, before I forget, I feel like I shouldn't leave this up to Zay, but I also feel like I should. Basic. So I have 25 gifted subs is a wax strip. Do I do 2 wax strips, or do I do a single wax strip? Not gone through any experience of that sort, but hearing that makes me want to. Yeah, I think it's a thing that a lot of people want to share with others, but also it is very it can be a polarizing topic, you know, like my mom and I for so many years have argued back and forth about me choosing to smoke weed, and unfortunately I think those same things that are used in retreats are kind of thrown in the same under the same umbrella. But yeah, I think the more of this kind of thing where we're able to talk about it openly and people are able to safely ask questions can hopefully, you know, somebody out there thinking about it, curious, gives them that little bit of clarity or context to explore it further and maybe try it for themselves, type of thing. Two at once, you son of a bee sting. Double the pain, double the glory. Why did I ask? Basic. If it were up to me, I would say do neither of them. You chose wrong, GG. It's funny because I can honestly see it going either way. Where you tell me don't do either, but then also I can see the other way that somehow we end up at 4. So, uh, you expect the worst from me. uh, I mean, it's best to expect the worst and have it turn out all right than expect the best and be disappointed, right? Right? Okay, so I'm gonna grab. It came in like this fancy like box. There are still 2 of those remaining as well. So, uh, okay, I've got some prepping to do, you all. So, before I totally, I've got the game switched over. Um, I am going to end this current YouTube stream so that we can get it switched over to Sekiro. So YouTube, I super appreciate you all hanging out with Sam and I. This should be available like within minutes of me ending this. If you wait a few hours, it'll be at a much better quality. You'll have like HD available at that point. But yeah, hope you all have a good rest of your weekends, good starts to your week, and